Sportball guys, we're here. Brandon, what's it been? 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
So we've had 3 weeks of football.
Lots happening.
Yes, we had week 18,
Mhm.
and then we had first round of the playoffs, second round of the playoffs. And boy, our predictions, well, my predictions are awful.
I did decent. I still got my Super Bowl,
Yeah, exactly. So you still got
but
a chance.
I don't like it.
I still got one of my Super Bowl participants.
Yes,
So there
yes,
is
you
that.
do.
So the four teams that are left, we got the Chiefs and the Bills.
Hmm.
And then the NFC, who's the NFC?
Oh,
Two East teams.
you know who
The
it is.
Eagles and the Redskins.
Yes, those
I'm still
guys.
calling them the Redskins.
Okay, we all know who they are.
Or the Washington football team. I refuse to call them the commies.
I can't call them the Washington football team because I'll never forget how bad I laughed when I went to that stadium and it said Washington football team. I said, it's so much funnier in person.
But I actually loved it.
You did?
Yeah, because it was just a big F you to everybody where they were like, you know what? Like, y'all want us to change names because y'all are soft and weak, and we're just going to do what nobody wants us to do and just name it the football team.
The Commanders have nice unis, though.
They're nice uniforms, but
like
horrible team name. Hate it. Hate it. It's like a team name that should be in the replacements.
The Sentinels.
The Sentinels is way better. Washington Sentinels are way better.
That's what
Just
they should
Shane
have named.
Falco as quarterback.
I'm
putting him up against Jaden McDaniel. I think it's a toss-up.
They're close.
Well, I'll tell you one thing.
You got Hart. Remember?
Yes.
Gene Hackman.
The Sentinels kicker was better. He was wiry.
Wiry.
Yes. Yes. So, all right, that's enough. That's enough to talk about their place. All right.
That's how we feel.
So we got 4 teams left. Let's go ahead and talk about what's happened so far. And
Where do you want to start?
Let's just start with the first round.
Okay.
Let's go back to the first round, the wild card weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The Texans destroyed the Chargers. I did not see that.
Shocking.
Yeah.
We both missed that one.
Yeah, I really thought, honestly, the Chargers would win, and I thought if it was a blowout, I really thought it would have been the Chargers blowing them out.
I mean, yeah, I learned a lot about Justin Herbert. Everything I thought about him is he's so overrated.
Yes.
He has a huge arm, and he's a big guy, and he can definitely throw it a mile. But for whatever reason, when it's time to make the big throws, he misses by a mile.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, poor Quentin Johnson. I mean, Ladd McConkey had a few. I mean, he had a great game, but he's the only one that had a great game.
Yeah. No, yeah, Herbert's not the answer.
I don't think so.
Harbaugh needs to get rid of him as quick as he can.
He won't, though.
No.
He loves him. He absolutely thinks he's the best quarterback in the league.
Does he? Or is he just supposed to say that in his first year?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I think he really does love Herbert.
I don't think you can get rid of him either because of his contract, and you're just going to want too much for him.
Well, he's still better than any rookie you could bring in. I'm not going to say here.
Especially this year.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, maybe you just, trade him for, maybe you just get like a weak backup. And, because Harbaugh, I think, Harbaugh could probably win with a ton of quarterbacks that are out there. I really, truly believe. I think he is a top 5 coach.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the way that he had Michigan just basically run through everybody last year in college football was very impressive.
Because they ran an NFL offense.
Exactly.
I mean, it was a whole different story.
Yeah, and I mean, he was very successful when he was in San Francisco too.
Mm-hmm. He took Colin Kaepernick, took him to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, let's not forget that. Yeah, I mean, he did, and he made Alex Smith look really good too.
Yeah.
So there's definitely that.
He saved Alex Smith's career.
Absolutely, 100%.
And then he got a good job over in KC for a little while.
Yeah.
Until that dude got drafted.
Well, also until he broke his leg.
That too.
Yeah.
That has a lot to do with it.
Yeah. So the next wild card game was your Steelers, and they kind of got beat by Baltimore.
I would actually like to take a minute. I'd like to thank the Baltimore Ravens for putting the final nail in that horrendous last 5 games of the season that I never want to forget about. And we need to figure out who the next quarterback is. We might even need to figure out who the next coach is.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't either, but they're definitely calling for his head if things don't change. There's high standards there, man.
Yeah, but
they don't do get there and then just totally fall flat on your face. They did have a horrible schedule.
Yeah, oh yeah.
At the end of the season, but the loss to Cincinnati and the loss to Philadelphia, I feel like could have been way different. Kansas City just beat them up, and so did Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean,
But
all pretty much playoff teams because Cincinnati was pretty
we
much
were
there.
absolutely spiraling downward hill fast from 30,000 feet to 10,000 feet, and then finally just crashed.
But
And it was so hard to watch.
see, I
But
don't put any of that on Mike Tomlin. I think most of that is should be on Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson's a big part. I also think the defense had an opportunity to
Yeah.
make plays, and they did not make plays. I mean,
Mhm.
I honestly started losing count how many times they would have a great drive going in key situations in all these games and then fumble right there when it's
Mhm.
time or throw a pick.
That's what I'm saying. It's not you can't think it's Tomlin's fault whenever he's literally putting them in position to win. They're just not getting. They're messing up on the one or two key plays.
I'm a Tomlin guy.
Yeah, me too. I
I
think
always have.
honestly,
He's a top 5 coach in the league,
I think he might be
maybe higher.
I think he's my favorite coach in the league.
Favorite?
Yeah, yeah. I
I
mean, I'm
like
not a
that.
Steelers fan, but I think he's my favorite coach.
Sure.
Yeah, I really do. I don't know. I don't think he's the best. Now, don't get it confused. I don't think he's the best. Top five, like you said, but I think he's my favorite.
He's a lot of character,
Yes.
you know.
Well, he does things the right way. Like,
I just know from being a Pittsburgh fan my whole life that they don't just sit here and accept these types of defeats at end of seasons. If it continues to happen, because this is not the first time it's happened in the last few years, then they will change things. But right now, he's still the guy.
yeah, I mean, the number one change right now, the only change they need right now is just get a quarterback, and you have one. I think you actually have a
I'm
quarterback.
I'm not going to completely cry about it because you and I at the very beginning of the season both picked them to be last in that
Yeah,
division,
yeah,
and they were first all the way until the next to last week.
yeah, yeah. They way
I mean,
overachieved.
they
Yeah.
way overachieved
That's what I'm
with
saying. Like that's,
decent talent.
but that's also that goes back to how good Tomlin is.
Huh?
But I think y'all got the quarterback on the bench.
Justin
Yeah,
Fields? I
I
think
think
so.
Tomlin can win with him. I think Tomlin wins with quarterbacks. I don't think he needs a great quarterback.
But he got spoiled with one, so
I'm not sure Ben Roethlisberger is a great quarterback. I think Mike Tomlin made him a great quarterback. That's what I'm saying.
we'll never know because he only played for one
Well,
team.
exactly,
However,
exactly. But yeah, that's my take though.
not just as a fan. I mean, you win two, you
I
go to
think
three.
I think Roethlisberger is Ron Fitzgerald if he plays
Oh
Fitzpatrick,
no.
whatever his name was. I think
Oh
Roethlisberger,
no.
that's who he is if he plays somewhere else. If he gets drafted by the
Oh no.
Titans, I think he's
Ben made a lot of plays, man,
Fitzmagic.
but
Fitzmagic was called that for a reason.
on 14 different teams, yes.
Well, that could have been Roethlisberger. He
But it
just got
wasn't
he got
because
drafted
he
by a
won
great coach.
Super Bowls.
Well,
Either
yeah,
way,
yeah,
massively digressing.
yeah. So let's move on here. First weekend, wild card weekend. Next game was the Bills beating the Broncos. I got nothing to say. The Broncos scored a touchdown, so bravo. They held the Bills to 31. Bravo. Yeah, that game was the easiest to predict.
I had a good laugh. I was at work, on Sunday,
Yeah.
and I caught on the edge of my phone and said, "Oh, 7-0 Broncos." I'm like, all right, all right. Then I got busy. Customers came in. I couldn't watch
like,
any of the game.
yeah,
I tried to, but unless there's people in the store. And then the game was way over after, I flipped on my phone. I flipped on 31-7.
yeah,
Oh, okay. Josh Allen's not choking.
yeah. It didn't last long.
I'm not shocked. I
No,
mean, you're right. There's just not much to say.
no.
Outmanned.
Yeah, I do think the Broncos got a decent future though. I like Bo Nix.
I
Sean
agree.
Payton's still a great coach. The Bills are just, I think, I said from the beginning of the year, like maybe this could be their year. I haven't predicted them to win, but I've always said that this could be the year, maybe. But we'll see. Yeah, the Eagles beat the Packers 22-10.
Boring.
Yeah, that was a boring game. The Packers never did anything. I felt like I really feel like the Eagles beat them by 100
The
points.
defense was
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
Jordan Love did try a lot of things. He threw picks,
yeah.
because the Eagles defense was just so
Oh
aggressive.
yeah,
But they also Saquon Barkley controlled that entire line of scrimmage,
oh yeah.
the entire game
Best running back in the
in
NFL.
the NFL.
Yeah, it's
He's
crazy.
a Hall of Famer right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Honestly, I feel like if it wasn't for Josh Allen, then I think Saquon would be the MVP this year.
I think he still deserves it. He won't win it.
Yeah,
It'll either be him or Lamar. And right now it looks like Allen's obviously in the driver's seat.
yeah. I don't
But
see. Yeah.
no, it'll be Allen.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Well, the award is called valuable. The Bills
you're not
suck without
kidding.
Josh Allen. The Bills suck without Josh Allen. The Ravens without Lamar Jackson
Do you,
still have Henry.
do you think the Eagles win the division without Saquon?
I mean,
I mean,
yeah,
there's a part
yeah,
of that.
yeah, probably, yeah,
I think
yeah.
I don't. Yeah. Okay. I
That
mean,
division, it's even though they got two teams in the NFC
one of them's
Championship
going
game.
to the Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
I still think that's possibly a weaker division. Like they're not. If you were to list the top three divisions, they're not one of them, which is crazy because two teams in the NFC Championship game. But
Yeah.
I do think they're like a
The
middle
best
of the pack.
division couldn't win a playoff game.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So let's move on to the other NFC East team then. You got the Redskins beating the Buccaneers 23-20, the most exciting game.
Great game.
Yeah, most exciting game of the first round. I mean, I was kind of pulling for the Bucks. I like Baker. I wanted Baker to win. But man, Washington knows what they're doing.
They do. Jaden or Jalen?
Jaden, yeah.
Jaydn.
Yeah, you better get his name right because he might be a future MVP.
Well, this is one I actually nailed from the beginning of the season.
You did, yeah.
Offensive Rookie of the Year.
You did, yeah.
Oh, he's getting it.
And I actually, to me,
He pleads a slight case for MVP.
yeah, he won't win it. But
he won't win, but
unanimous offensive rookie of the year. And I actually, I thought he was probably the second best rookie quarterback, maybe, or third best. I did not expect this at all. But I love it. I hope this isn't a flash in the pan, as they say. I hope this is this is what he is. And I think the run that he's on is great, man. I mean, Washington, I've never seen them win a playoff game, I don't think, in my life until this year.
No.
Yeah.
One. I saw him win one.
I mean,
Way long ago. 20 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I told my dad the other day when we were talking, I was like, last time Washington won a Super Bowl, I had to watch it on replay on a VHS.
I was in 6th grade.
There you go. Yeah,
I'm turning 46 this year.
I was just being born when they last won. Yeah, that was why it was on VHS. They had to tape it because I was, too busy. Yeah. So there you go. That was a great game, though. That was a very good game. Yeah.
Best game of the whole weekend for sure.
Absolutely, 100%. And honestly, it was probably the two most even teams. I feel like. One other game the last game I thought that was going to be pretty close was my Vikings losing to the Rams. So the Vikings go this whole year only losing two teams. Not a bad year.
No. And do you think they lost the Lions game twice?
Yeah, I think this game
what it was. They just after that.
Oh yeah,
because the Lions completely deflated them.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It was a decent game until about mid third quarter, and then Detroit just opened it up, and then I think after that they just. All right, so here's something I actually want to ask you about. Sam Darnold gets sacked 9 times.
Oh yeah, well our offensive line sucks.
Or is he honestly holding on to the ball too long and at least not getting rid of it?
Oh, it's both. It's both. But it's if you had
I say it's kind of a little bit of Sam's fault here.
I think it's more the offensive line. I think if you had a good offensive line, it doesn't really matter. I don't think.
Yeah, Rams team's not that good.
No, but
that was the thing that really, really got me. I mean, it's not like they played Philly decent, but
I knew this game was over though. I think it was first quarter still. And Matthew Stafford fumbles the ball, and they call it a pass, even though the Vikings recovered it for a touchdown. I knew the game was over then, so I was kind of like, you know what? I don't even want to watch anymore. I mean, I did, but honestly, I really have no idea what intentional grounding is anymore, or what a sack is, or what a fumble is.
Yeah.
Because there was 4 plays this year where the Vikings had intentional grounding or a safety, or something to do with a quarterback being sacked, where the call goes 100% the opposite way of what I thought it was. Even against the Lions, Jared Goff in the end zone being sacked for a safety just throws it to the ground.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh no, there's a receiver in the area," and I'm like, "The receiver is blocking."
Yes.
That's not. He's not even looking at the ball.
He's not in the play.
He had no idea the ball was even thrown at his feet. And Stafford kind of just tosses the ball as he's being sacked. There's nobody near it. He's still in the pocket. If you don't want to call it a fumble, okay, cool, awesome, I get that. Intentional grounding. Oh, no, there's no penalty. It's 2nd and 10. And then what do? They go down and score.
Some of these calls have just been egregious.
I mean, that changed the whole game. It goes from, at best, it's a Vikings defensive touchdown, tied ball game.
That's the call it should have been.
Absolutely. At worst, it's an intentional grounding, and it's like third and 20.
Yeah, they're way back up.
Yeah, it's like third and 20 something. And, the Vikings probably stop them, and they're only down 10-3.
I mean, I can't believe that little. I mean, while he's getting hit, he barely
Yeah.
flicks the wrist and gets credit.
But there's no receiver even near him.
And the worst thing is, I was watching the Peyton and Eli version of this.
Yeah.
And Belichick kept saying, they're going to call that an incomplete pass.
Well, yeah, I mean.
And then a few minutes later, that's exactly, they turned it right back into. I knew that was trouble.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was pretty much done with the game at that point. I was like, you know what, we're not winning this game. It doesn't matter what happens from here. There's no way. There was just no way. You know what I mean? Like that's too much to overcome. You're already pissed off about the week before, and now you got to deal with that. It's like, okay, we're done here. So that brings us to the divisional round last weekend, and what also might have been maybe some boring games. I felt like you had the Chiefs beat the Texans. I mean, was it ever in doubt, really?
In doubt? No, but they sure made it interesting until about the late fourth quarter.
That's what the Chiefs are doing.
It was 13-12.
Yeah.
But it's also seemed like every time Houston had an opportunity to either chip at it or tie it, they would always find a way to miss an extra point.
Yeah.
Then they missed a couple field goals.
Yeah, two.
Yeah, they missed 2 field goals. I mean, Houston was in a position to make that game very tight at the end.
Yeah.
But they could. This is what happens with young teams and young quarterbacks and also young coaches.
Yeah.
I love their coach. That's another coach I think D'Amico Ryan is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely amazing coach.
Yeah. I agree.
And
I agree.
But just when it was time to make the plays, they didn't make them.
No, but I still like the Texans. I still think they're a good team.
They're going to have a lot of good years ahead of them.
Yeah, I'm going to hold my thoughts on the Chiefs though, because we can talk about them and what our predictions are. So the next game, which is probably the most shocker of the playoffs, you had the Redskins beating the Lions by.
Oh.
They actually only ended up winning by 14, but 45-31. The Redskins. That game, I said going into the game, I knew if Washington could score 40, I was like, they're probably going to win. But, man, it seemed like they just beat the crap out of Detroit. I mean, is that how it felt to you? Like, I felt like Washington was the better. Like, I don't think they just won the game. I think they're the better team.
Jared Goff didn't actually suit up. That was Jake Delhomme from 08 out there. Yeah. Just every time you have a great opportunity to maximize and tie up or take the lead, you're throwing a pick.
And,
And unfortunately, and this is what happens when you have 8 defensive starters out.
Oh, yeah, it's too many.
Including Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
It was going to catch up to you.
Oh, for sure.
This Lions team's not finished. They're going to, for the next couple of years, they're going to be down there at the end. They're a great team as long as they can figure out how to keep most of it together.
I think they got 4 big problems now.
Staying healthy is one.
No.
Oh, no?
No, they got 4 big problems now. 1, they lost their offensive coordinator.
It's okay.
All right. 2, they lost their defensive coordinator.
You're a great team. You're going to get jobs.
All right. 3, do they have anybody to control the head coach from just going for it on every 4th down?
The same head coach that got them to 15-2?
I mean, I'm just saying. And then the 4th biggest problem.
Oh, Jared Goff?
Yeah. There's probably a reason why Sean McVay wanted him gone from L.A. He lost the Super Bowl and really never did anything in the big games. So, do we got a Jared Goff problem? And remember, Detroit has a quarterback that they drafted. They have a quarterback on the bench.
I mean, I think Jared Goff is good enough. But just the problem is there's so many that are better than him.
I think they got a serious problem, and I think if next year starts off bad, I think you could see a change in the guard. Like if they're like 2-3 or 1-2 or something, I'm telling you right now, he's on the bench the rest of the year.
I still think he has an absolute laser of an arm.
Agreed.
And he can still make the passes.
Yeah.
He just has got to step up big in the crunch time. But we know he can.
But
I do want to go back to your coach.
He lost the Super Bowl like 12-2.
Well, that was a great Patriots defense to go along with it.
Just saying, they averaged 50 points in the regular season or something, and then so I mean, yeah,
he looked a lot like Cam Newton, and that's
Super Bowl. So, anyways, go on with your thoughts.
But I mean, as far as the Dan Campbell thing you're saying, I think there is some truth to what you're saying. because I still maintain last year that Super Bowl should not have been Kansas City
No,
and
that was
San
Detroit.
Fran.
That was their
It
chance.
should have
Yeah,
been
that was their chance.
KC and
Yeah.
Detroit if he just kicked two
Yeah.
field goals.
And I'm saying I think he's down to go for it more times. And I think it was Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator, that kind of stopped him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying now that he's lost these guys and he's got the Jared Goff question now, I think I was ahead one year. I thought this was the year Detroit took a step back. I think next year is the year they take a
It's
step back.
very possible. I mean, you still have a very up and coming Green Bay team that's only
Yeah.
going to get better.
And Minnesota should be better.
Minnesota should be. We don't
Yeah.
know who the quarterback is
Well,
yet,
it's
but
gonna
they
be
have
JJ. It's gonna be JJ.
could be,
Yeah.
and they have a ton of talent surrounding them. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a good team.
And you never know about Chicago. Yeah.
Caleb Williams is going to get better. He had a horrendous end of the season, but he still has a big arm and a lot of talent. So I mean, it wasn't shocking.
Yeah, I mean Chicago. I think
this was a heartbreaking loss for
what I'm
Detroit,
saying.
man. It was.
This was more heartbreaking. Y'all are gonna look back on this loss in a couple of years and be like,
I did not think they would lose.
No.
Even with all their defensive
Agreed.
struggles.
I thought they would at least win that game. I really thought they would at least win. I think though this loss in a couple of years, you're gonna look back on it and go, that was our chance, and injuries and a loss to a team that we shouldn't have lost to. So yeah, Detroit, don't forget this game. Don't forget this was the game. Let's move on though to the other two divisional round games. The Eagles beat the Rams 28-22. This was another game though that was not even that close. And also the snow, I could not tell what was going on.
Yeah.
I mean, they kick a field goal at one point. I didn't even see the ball. I mean, I'm just saying.
It was a fun game to watch on TV. I'm glad I was warm in my living room.
I mean, how the heck? Philadelphia fans are crazy. How is there that many people at this game?
I'm married to one. I know.
Dude,
I know how crazy your whole family is.
I cannot believe. First of all,
It's gonna be a zoo on Sunday.
I would never go to a game in the snow.
No.
Ever.
Oh no. Well, you know how I feel about weather and football.
I think every game should be. I think every stadium should be a dome. Yeah, every sport should be in a dome. Every sport.
I agree fully.
I mean, like the new golf thing that they got going on, where it's like that. That's way better than regular golf.
You think about how much money the people on the lower level of all these NFL stadiums pay.
Yeah.
It is a significant. I've sat in both upper and lower numerous times.
Yeah.
And it is a huge gap, and it's also a huge personality difference.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you what, nobody wants to pay $300, $400, $500 or more a seat and get 17 degrees and snow on your head, rain, everything. No, we want a good climate-controlled environment, and I'm hoping one day that happens.
Yeah, I hope that. I mean, my dad's got season tickets to the Panthers.
Yes.
And this year I didn't go to a single game, but he asked me to go to a couple. One of them he asked me to go to. They were calling for rain, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
It's raining, I think they were playing. It was like a game against a good team, and I was like, no, they're calling for rain. I'm not gonna go. So that tells you right there.
Exactly.
Because if they were indoors, I would probably go actually to almost every game.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a great environment.
Yeah, and free ticket. So why not? But yeah, no, that was it was a snow game.
I think that Philadelphia played their B game and still found a way to win.
Yeah.
They did not play a great game, and they tried to give it away. Saquon did what Saquon does, and that's why they won. But they tried to give that game back to LA a number of times.
LA had chances. If LA would have,
did. I thought they were going to win for a minute.
I thought they were too, honestly. But in the end, Saquon is just too much.
I'm saying the Eagles, you better fix whatever is going on right now, because I'm not so sure you'll get by Washington like that.
Yeah. And we'll predict what we think. So the last divisional round game was the Bills beating the Ravens by 2. The Ravens had a chance. They had a chance. Mark Andrews. I think that game was actually closer than I thought it was going to be. I really thought the Bills would run away with it. Not going to lie.
Not all Mark Andrews' fault.
No, not at all. And if they're wanting to blame him, that dude has given them so much. Like, I think this just goes back to the fact that Lamar just for some reason, I think he's just never going to win 2 playoff games. I mean, I've said it time and time again. I don't think he's a playoff quarterback. He does great October, November, December. You get into January, it's time to switch over to a different quarterback. Like, I don't know why. Also, Derrick Henry, I felt like, just give him the ball every time.
Yeah, but they game planned for him.
Yeah, they
They
did.
did a great job.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it took Lamar's arm, which he can do,
Yeah.
to beat him. And the offensive line really, really played well
Oh yeah,
for
really
Lamar.
well.
I mean, I
Yeah.
remember that very last touchdown before Mark Andrews dropped it.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to had a solid seven
Oh geez,
seconds.
yeah.
I mean, I looked at my wife and said, they're going to score.
Yeah.
While he was scrambling, like, they're going to score. He has
Yeah.
too much time. And drilled a dart.
Yeah, you don't give him that much time. That was ridiculous. No, the team played good. I think that was a surprising game. Like I
And,
really yeah.
and as a Ravens hater, of course, I love the fact that Mark Andrews dropped a 2-point conversion. However, listen, man, you're a professional. You're too good of a player to let that big of a moment pass out from under
And
you.
maybe they should have just kicked the extra point when they scored the touchdown in the third quarter instead of going for two.
I think so too.
Yeah.
That's very possible.
I think they tried too early to try to catch
Yeah.
up. Yeah. I really do. I think
Well, Lamar put him behind with picks. They were doing great, and
Look,
he put him behind.
Lamar does Lamar things.
He does.
To me, that's what I think of when I think Lamar Jackson. I don't think the 4,000 yards and
I
40
still think
touchdowns.
Josh Allen's a better quarterback.
Absolutely, yeah.
Numbers and stats are related to the system you run.
Yeah.
But you're telling me right now, you're going out in the backyard and you're picking your team, and you have big old JA over there, and you got Lamar Jackson over there. Give me Josh Allen.
Yeah.
No question. He's
Yeah.
the second best in the league.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely 100%. I think Josh Allen's that dude. I think it's not even I don't even think it should be a question.
No.
I don't think the Bills in the 7 years or is that how long Allen's been in the league? 7 years. They've been in Lamar 7 years, right?
Oh, it's 20. Yeah, that's right.
I don't think the Bills make the playoffs at all any of those years without Josh Allen.
Oh, Lord, no. I don't
And
think they'd make it this year without him.
I think if you switch Lamar and Josh Allen, I think the Ravens already have a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh, I think so.
Yeah. If
Oh,
not
my
two. If
goodness.
not two.
Patrick might not have any.
And I think the Bills still would not have made a playoff. I don't think Lamar could have taken the Bills to the playoffs any of these years. Maybe one.
No,
Maybe
I mean,
one. Maybe one because the division had a couple of weak years in there. But, I mean,
Lamar has, and listen, Josh Allen has great legs, but Lamar is the best legs I've ever seen on
Yeah.
a quarterback in history. But when it comes to the biggest arm, I mean, Cam Newton,
I,
who is known for having a huge arm,
yeah.
said that Josh Allen has the biggest arm he
Oh, I
has
agree with
ever
that.
seen.
I agree with that part. I still think the best running quarterback is Michael Vick. I think if Michael Vick played today, he would have more yards than Lamar.
Maybe. I don't know. We could debate that. Lamar's pretty disgusting.
Yeah, but Vick played in a day and age where the quarterbacks weren't really asked to run the ball.
That's because they had never seen a guy like him
Exactly.
before.
And also, Vic got hit.
He did.
The quarterbacks don't really get hit now. Like back in the
No.
day, Vic, so I think the days if you put Vic in today's game, I think he's probably the best quarterback in the league. You still got
that
more.
arm.
Still
Not
got
with that arm.
man. I think
That arm was not that accurate.
no, it sucked. But I think just with his running ability,
His legs are
yeah.
ridiculous. And
Yeah.
like I said, that's
Yeah.
one of those things where we have to watch tape and really evaluate.
I like Michael Vick, man.
He's electric, man.
Yeah,
He's electric.
I liked him until he, killed the dogs and went to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But when he was in Atlanta, loved him.
Oh, he was.
I liked the Dirty Birds, man. They were, everybody wants to go to the
tormented Carolina numerous times.
Shoot, he had like a 70-yard run against the Vikings one year in the playoffs. Or not in the playoffs, in overtime. It was unbelievable. I was like, oh, yeah, it's 1st and 10 from the 20. Okay, he just runs for 80 yards. It's one of the best runs I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah.
Let's look to the future now.
Here
These
we
last
are.
two weeks. We'll start with the NFC East championship game. The Washington Redskins. Yeah, that's right. I'm just going to
Those
say it
guys.
always.
He's
Washington football team. There we go. Facing the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, do you want to go first on who you predict to win, or do you want me to go first?
Well, one of us predicts the NFC, the other predicts the AFC.
Well, I think we should both predict.
Oh, we're going to
both,
predict, but
But okay,
yes, I'll jump in.
you go first on this one. I'll go first on the next
Deal.
one. Okay. All right.
All right, Philadelphia against Washington. This is actually, I think this is going to come down to the end. I'd like to state that. I don't think Washington is going to get blown out.
No.
I also think this is a bad matchup for Washington. because Detroit's defense was so Swiss cheese with 8 injured starters. I mean, they were picking them apart left and right. That was absolutely. It looked easy. That's not Philly. Philly is the number one rated defense in the league. They are the number one passing defense. You don't believe me? Fill out a fantasy lineup this weekend, and you'll see if you pick any Washington players, they're dealing with number one, number two, and number three in certain areas. Very staunch defense. So they allowed 10 points and then 22 points. Plus, they've also seen each other already
Mm-hmm.
2 times. I think the defense in the running game is going to take the Philadelphia Eagles to the Super Bowl. I'm going to say 27-17 Eagles. I think the defense is going to be. I think the moment might be too. If Jaden Daniels goes in there and wins this game and goes to the Super Bowl in his rookie season, it'll be one of the greatest stories I've ever seen. I mean, you don't really see stuff like that.
No.
And he has a tendency. I mean, to be. He has a chance to be one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever live. I've never seen it happen like that. I see the moments get too big. He's going into the most hostile environment in the league, them in Kansas City, of course, in Seattle. They are, this place is like nothing else. It's going to be rocking. It's going to be cold. It's going to be nasty.
It is the city that booed Santa Claus.
They hate Santa.
They have a jail. They have a jail.
In the vet.
Yeah.
They threw batteries at Santa Claus.
Their favorite sports person ever in Philadelphia is a fictional character, Rocky Balboa.
Saquon, yeah, and I give him a hard time all the time. I love that. Saquon runs for 125 yards, gets at least one score. Eagles go to Super Bowl 59, 27-17. Jaden Daniels gets shut down.
I like it. I agree. I think
Okay.
Saquon runs for 140 or whatever you said.
I
I'll
like
just
it.
throw a number with one
Sure.
before it. I think he has a touchdown at least. I think maybe 2 touchdowns. I think Philadelphia probably finishes with 27 or 28 points. I think they lose. I really do.
I love it.
I really
love
do. I
this.
think
Okay.
I think Washington wins 30 to 28. I think Jaden Daniels. I think he's that dude. I think he's everything that we've always wanted to see in a quarterback.
One of the greatest stories
Yeah,
ever told.
yeah, and I think it's just sometimes I think a storybook is written and it's going to have a happy ending, and I think this one has a happy ending with Washington winning. And if you go back to their last matchup like 5 weeks ago, uh, Washington beat them. It was in Washington, but Washington beat them, and Daniels had 5 touchdowns. And also Hurts is also hurt. He's
Yeah.
not 100%.
No, you're right. They're going to be leaning on
So-
Saquon hard.
Yeah,
And Gainwell.
yeah, and I think though the real story is just going to be I think Jaden has that confidence already, throwing 5 touchdowns against them last time, and I think his confidence can carry them to the win. I don't think he's going to crack under the pressure. I think all he's going to think about is, wow, I got 5 touchdowns against them last time. They ain't stopping me. And I think that's going to be enough to carry Washington to I'm not saying a last second victory, but I think they win by like 2 or 3. I think maybe Philadelphia has a chance at the end, just doesn't do it.
Fails.
Yeah, I just think there's only so much Saquon can do, and yeah, I've never believed in this Philadelphia team. I've said that.
Okay.
I've never believed in them. I don't know why, because I think they do play great football, and sometimes, like I said, I think the story is too powerful to stop, and the story of Jaden Daniels and the Washington football team, or the commies, because some people even say we have a communist leader now. So why not have a communist team win the Super Bowl? I'm just saying, I don't believe either one of them are communists, but some people's story, just saying. So the story is just way too powerful right now,
Okay.
I think. So
So
yeah,
it really has nothing to do with what happens on the field. It's all about the story.
yeah, I think,
love
yeah,
that.
I think,
love that.
I think sometimes things are just written where it's like, you know what, we're just meant to lose this game, and I think Philadelphia is just meant to lose this game, and yeah, I mean, I don't know what's the weather supposed to be like. Is it supposed to be snowing again?
I know it's Philadelphia in January. It's not going to be good weather.
It's 39 degrees. Yeah, that's not.
That's not horrible.
Yeah, that's too good of weather to stop Daniels. Jaden's gonna 4 touchdowns for him probably, 3 touchdowns maybe.
So you're saying I should definitely get him in fantasy?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think out of all the quarterbacks this weekend, I think he would be the quarterback to take. I really do. I think
Oh no.
Yeah, so I'm predicting Washington. You're taking Philadelphia.
I
So we're on the
like it.
different
I
sides of the
like that.
page.
I like that.
Now let's move on to the
Let's
primetime
go.
game, the game that we're probably just going to see in the AFC Championship every year
Sure
until
feels like it.
yeah, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it. This is Manning and Brady, all over again. This is fantastic. The Bills and the Chiefs in Kansas City. I guess I get to predict first this time.
Yes.
So it's in Kansas City.
Mm,
I've picked the Chiefs pretty much all year to win.
okay.
I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback.
Yes.
I think Josh Allen is the second best quarterback. I think he's going to get the MVP trophy whenever they announce it because apparently you don't announce it at the end of the regular season when you should, but whatever. Um, the Bills are playing their best, and I've said that this could be their year. The Chiefs are not playing well.
No.
They've won a lot of close games. I'm predicting a score. It's going to be a high scoring game. It's going to be a high scoring game.
Okay. I
It's going to be a
like
high
that.
scoring game for one team. I'm predicting 52-26 Kansas City. I think they've just been kind of holding back. I think they've just been breezing through. Bills beat them earlier in the year, so payback time. And I just really think this Chiefs team has just been like, you know what, guys, we won two in a row. We know how to get there, and now we're there. This is there. This is the time to shine. And yeah, I just think the Chiefs just blow them out. And I think this game is over by the 10-minute mark in the second quarter. I think
Wow.
this game does not live up to the hype at all. This game is just Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid saying, and Taylor Swift also saying, you know what, we're the greatest, we're the best in 2025. And yeah, I think the Chiefs are just gonna be way too much for the Bills. And I'm not even saying the Bills mess up. I don't think the Bills play bad. I just think the Chiefs play like the Kansas City Chiefs that we expect, and they blow them out 52-26.
It's your prediction.
Yeah,
Go with it.
yeah,
Go nuts.
yeah. I love it.
I can agree with absolutely none of those
All right.
except for one part.
Oh, okay. All right. Taylor Swift's the best.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
The winner.
Hmm. So you think Kansas City wins also?
35-31.
So you're
I
that's still high
think
scoring.
I think that yeah, I think they got two dynamic offenses.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody has more gadget plays and trickery than Mahomes. It's
No.
incredible.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the refs just a little bit, but hopefully it'll be played on the field.
Yeah. We know they're
Um,
we know they're on Kansas City's side.
I just had okay, so I believe in revenge games in the NFL. I think they're a big thing.
Yes.
Kansas City has one legit loss. I understand there's two losses on the record, but they literally handed Buffalo, a one-way ticket, or excuse me, they handed Denver a one-way ticket to Buffalo to be in the playoffs. They let Carson Wentz and half of the third. I don't count that game.
No, it shouldn't
You
count.
can't
I agree.
count that game.
I agree.
So the Chiefs have one because if they played the starters and they wanted to make a point, they'd have mopped them. They would have mopped up the Broncos.
I agree.
So we'll call them the one-loss Chiefs
Yeah.
because they have one legit loss to this team in their house. These things matter. They do make a difference. Plus, is Patrick Mahomes is that dude.
Yeah,
He's
and
that dude.
yeah. And if it wasn't for them playing earlier this year, I think maybe my thought process would have been a little
Been
bit different.
different.
Yeah.
But I'm saying 35-31, and we have Mahomes magic again.
It's just too hard to pick against the Chiefs, man. Until somebody beats them,
Yeah.
it's like we said on our college basketball show. Like I'm not picking against Dan Hurley and UConn until somebody actually beats them.
Right.
It's like they've won two in a row for a reason. I
Yeah.
think and honestly, and maybe I'm just a little biased. I want to see the three-peat. Never seen it in NFL history.
It
I
would
want
be
to.
history.
It was
Yeah.
like when the Patriots were 18-0 going to the Super Bowl. I wanted them to win so bad. Plus Moss get why do people not want to see these cool
I
things?
agree.
Because you might never see back-to-back Super Bowl winners.
No,
again.
it's hard. It's one of them. I think the NCAA tournament is the hardest thing to win in all
Yes,
sports.
and then the Super Bowl is the next.
And then the Super Bowl is the
Absolutely.
next.
And I
I
think,
really do. I believe that.
yeah, and with parity and how the contracts and everything is set up now, it's impossible to really have a strong team year
Yeah.
after year. So yeah, I mean, I'm all for a three-peat. I'm all for it. I want to see it. And maybe maybe this is a great way for some of those Chiefs guys to just ride off into the sunset
So
too.
you got Kansas City and Washington. I got Kansas City and Philadelphia.
All right.
Your
Yeah.
Super Bowl will be way more interesting.
Yeah. Well, we
Way
just we
more
just saw
interesting.
yours like
2 years ago.
yeah. Yeah, which I have zero recollection of that game.
38-35 Chiefs. It was. I'm married to a Philly fan.
Yeah.
We were in the cave with about 25 of our closest friends,
Yeah.
watching my wife's team lose. It was pretty sad.
All right. So so Super Bowl predictions really
Yes.
quick. Because we don't really know who's going to be there, but we know who we predict to be there. Um, did we both just got the Chiefs winning?
Yes.
Yeah, I think, I talked about the Washington story. This is kind of like, like when you watch old sports movies, such as Major League,
Yes.
and, the movie ends with them winning. Well, they only win to get to the World Series. And then at the start of the second movie, you find out that they lost the World Series. And then what happens at the end of Major League 2? You find out that they make the World Series. Guess what? They probably lost it again. So maybe the Washington story was we made it to the Super Bowl. It's kind of like when Carolina beat Duke in the Final Four.
Yeah.
Like, nobody cares about the next game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that.
That's a problem.
The story was they beat Duke in the Final Four. Washington's story is they got a rookie quarterback and they make the Super Bowl. The story is not they got a rookie quarterback and win the Super Bowl. And I think, once again, Kansas City wins like, I'm going to say 46-12.
Yeah.
I don't even think. I said I predict the Buffalo game to be over by 10 minutes in the second quarter. I think this game is over as soon as they kick the ball.
So you think, and I know you're a fair amount younger than me.
Yeah.
So you think this is San Francisco and San Diego in the mid-90s, where the entire world knew it was just going to be the highest scoring, biggest butt-kicking Super Bowl that ever happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think it's not a fun game. I think, sadly, we don't even have a good halftime show either. I just think
always
this is.
turn it off. I don't care.
Yeah.
I never watch it.
Yeah, so, and I don't even care for the commercials either. I think they all suck now too. So I really think I'm just gonna skip the Super Bowl, man. Get prepared.
Skip the Super
I'll get prepared for spring training. I'll get whatever.
Basketball.
Yeah, basketball. Like I just.
By
think,
the way, Duke
yeah.
fans don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Just so you know, we don't care.
I'm just saying. Well, of course not. It's not a rivalry. I mean, you only care when you lose to a rival. I mean, just saying. No, I think the Super Bowl is a dud. I think Kansas City. I think the story is Washington gets there, and once again, I don't even think they play bad. I think Kansas City just, and then Kelsey, Reed, and Taylor Swift all ride off into the sunset. And,
have they had any just blowout wins this year?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They're just waiting.
So you think that this?
Yeah,
so you think
waiting,
this is they've been almost like a ploy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like remember like when Florida the Gators won 2 straight NCAA tournaments?
07, 08.
Yeah, and like, that second year, I don't think they were really all that great in the regular season. And then they got to the
But then
tournament.
they turned it
Yeah,
on and just
yeah.
smoked. Well, they were a 1 seed, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that they were like a great team really until the tournament, or like maybe like yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like, I just think Kansas City is just, they've been waiting. They know what they had to do to get here. And now they're here. And they're like, you know what? We saved all of our energy. Like, we did what we wanted to do with barely trying. Now let's turn it on. Let's finish the story. Let's do what no other team has done. And then, like I said, I think Reed is done. I think Kelsey's done. I think T Swizzle goes off and whatever. And, Mahomes is left by himself, like the Will Smith thing in Fresh Prince, where he's just standing there in the empty room and like
counting his Super Bowl rings.
Yeah, and he's like, "What do I do now?" Like, yeah, and he's counting his rings. Like, I'm the third best, second best quarterback of all time. Like, yeah, I think it's a perfect story. So let's move on to your prediction. You got Kansas City beating Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you think it's going to go?
I just don't think Philadelphia can win that game. I don't. I just think. There's a few reasons. One, Andy Reid's the best coach in all of football.
Yeah, and he's going to want to beat
He's
his
number
team
one.
again. Yeah. Well, currently, yeah.
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 Well, I'm saying he's the best coach. I mean, he's not the best of all time, but he's the best coach.
That's what
right
I'm saying.
now,
Yeah.
with the best quarterback.
Yeah.
With the best coordinators.
Yeah.
Their defense does just enough to keep them in the game, whether it's hold the opponent to 10 points or hold them to 30, and Patrick put up 34.
Yeah.
That's what they're great at. They're so great at manipulating the pace of the game. And here's something for you. Nobody wins better than they do.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
Yeah.
there's teams with tons of talent. There's teams that put up tons of points. But then there's teams that just know how to win the game they're
Yeah.
playing in. They can win in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different ways at least. Where Philly's kind of one dimensional. No, they're two dimensional. They run the ball and they play good defense. But you can stop a run really easy with a team like the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think Saquon would hit 100 yards.
Oh yeah. No.
I mean, it'd be the only defense they'd be able to hold
I can see that.
Saquon is KC.
I can see that. Yeah.
If Buffalo wins, then I feel like Saquon could run for $150 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
If the
Yeah.
Chiefs win, he'll be under 100 and he'll probably get a touchdown, but that's all. I mean, they would be, I would say, 30 to 21,
Wow.
30 to 21 kind of. I mean, the Eagles are going to move the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
They're going to get some points. They're just not going to be able to keep up with Patrick Mahomes.
No. I think
They're not. He's just
it's unbelievable how much the Chiefs now remind me of the Patriots.
he's the second best NFL player to ever play.
Yeah, and I think they very much remind me of
Right
those.
now.
They very much remind me of those Brady Patriots
Yeah, oh,
because people don't ever want to talk about how good their defense was. And
they're spitting images, man.
there were so many times where Brady knew, okay, the defense is going to hold them to 16. If I
Yeah.
score 17, we win, and that's what he would do. That's what he would do. You know, he never. There was so many times where he just did what he had to do to win, but he easily could have done more.
They have a very, very underrated running game.
Yeah, and Mahomes is doing the same thing as Brady did. He's literally like, oh yeah, I get it now. Only got to score 19 points for us to win because our defense is that good.
Brady had James White, LeGarrette Blount, Sonny Michel.
He won one with a 45-year-old Corey Dillon.
Yes, he sure did. And Mahomes has had Kareem Hunt, Pacheco, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, they got really good backs.
Yeah.
Like Kareem Hunt is playing. Like if you get down to the 2-yard line, 3-yard line,
Touchdown.
oh, I'm going him
Yeah.
all day. He's the new Marshawn Lynch.
I think I think if it's Kansas City and Philadelphia, I actually think it's a low scoring game. I think the score is like 18-13.
I just think there's too many weapons on the field for it to be that
Yeah.
low.
I just think both defenses crack down. And I think Kansas City does
I mean,
maybe just enough to win that game.
Jay-
Or, on the flip side, I think your score prediction could be pretty close also.
there's just too many studs on that field on both sides. If Xavier Worthy gets loose in space, forget it.
Oh yeah, it's a touchdown.
It's gone. I mean, he's almost Tyreek speed.
I think if it's Philadelphia and Buffalo, I think the first one to 40 wins.
I think it will. I'll take the over in that game.
Yeah,
And
100%.
if Vegas is smart,
yeah.
they'll make the over under like 70.
Yeah, and I would still take the over. And I think the first one to score 40 in that one. But I like our predictions, man. I like that we
Yeah.
disagree on some things, and at the end of the day, we both still pick the Chiefs to win. And honestly, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Next year, taking the Chiefs.
Let me see what their offseason looks
Well, yeah, I know, but
then I'll make a determination.
I know, but I guarantee Mahomes will be there, so I'm taking the Chiefs.
You are right about that, but that's actually okay. So that's actually a great point. Like, if they win a third one,
Yeah.
do you feel like Kelsey and what's
Nah.
the really good edge rusher?
Chris Jones.
Yes,
Yeah. Oh yeah, he could be done.
he
too.
could definitely be
Yeah.
done. Even though looks like he can still play for
Yeah.
5 more years.
All those defense linemen do when they
Yeah.
retire. Yeah. No, I think they win 3 in a row. I think they're all. Yeah, I think that's just a good way to go
Well,
out.
people are gonna want money though. You got to remember.
Well, that too,
like,
but it's
I
also
mean,
I think when it comes to like Kelsey and Andy Reid and possibly Chris Jones, I think that they're more likely to say this is a great way to go out. You know what I
they
mean?
didn't really use Kelsey. I mean, they used
Oh,
Kelsey last game
Kelsey's been done for 2 years.
until the playoffs.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's literally Gronk. He's literally Gronk. This is literally the Patriots. I'm telling you, this is
And
the
it
same
works.
team. Yeah, Gronk should have retired 10 years ago, and he still got 3 more Super Bowls because he played 3 good games.
Yeah.
The dude did not play a single good game in Tampa Bay
You didn't need to.
until the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
His last Super Bowl in New England, worst regular season he had had his whole career. plays great in the AFC Championship game, plays great in the Super Bowl.
Unstoppable. That's what great players do, though.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying though. But it's uncanny how they compare so good to the Patriots, and we literally just had the Patriots. It's not like the Patriots were 30 years ago. We're literally going from one dynasty to the next, and they're the exact same, except New England can do the three-peat.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason why maybe I kind of want them to fail because I don't want them to one up the Patriots because I liked the Patriots. I liked Tom Brady. He's got perfect hair. How do you not like Tom Brady?
Right.
But
yes.
yeah, this will be a fun couple of weeks, Brandon, and it's we'll be back to talk about it maybe before the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once we know exactly who's in it
Yes.
and what we see, we could.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Maybe we'll even talk about the Pro Bowl. Sorry. All right. Sportball guys, look us up on YouTube. Thanks for watching, guys. Brandon, any last words?
Just
No?
ready to watch some football. Ready to come back and talk about it.
Perfect.
Argue with us.
Yes.
Please get in these comments. Argue with us. Tell us we're stupid. Hey, look, the Detroit Lions are about to come across the screen right now.
Yeah.
Here they come.
All right, guys. The cat's telling us it's time to go. So
he's cutting.
Check you later.
See ya.